The real costs of the rush to net zero, from Voice for Walcha. Walcha is a small, thriving town in the New England area of New South Wales, central to one of the most productive agricultural areas on the eastern seaboard, with successful rural-based businesses, a strong arts community, and bordered by World Heritage National Parks. We're part of the New England Renewable Energy Zone, one of 5 zones in the state. And frankly, we're getting smashed. This strong community of about 3,000 is being asked to host 660 wind turbines, 230 metres high, all within 50 kilometres of the town's CBD. Did you get that? 660 towers, 230 metres minimum height, surrounding a tiny town. That's ludicrous. Sydney has only 17 buildings higher than 200 metres. Our community, Voice for Walcha, is fighting this insanity. We have over 300 mostly local members and 500 Facebook followers, and we grew out of frustration with lack of information from developers about what we might expect from a wind energy project. Now that we know what to expect, our driving aim is to protect our community and landscape at all costs from poor developers designing poor projects in poor locations. It's all to do with a failing government policy that's already harming regional communities. Walcha is being asked to host 4,000 megawatts of energy. That's 40% of the state's quota. A ridiculous demand with no grasp of the impacts. We're told our area is a unique wind resource. That is utter nonsense, but it's used to justify peppering Walcha with ever larger wind projects. We're talking cowboy developers here, inexperienced and undercapitalised with zero interest in people and place, or in following their projects through to completion or ownership, only interested in flipping ASAP. There's no developer accreditation in this industry, no barrier to entry. It's all about BS promises to lure landholders into deals that badly impact the wider community and are shrouded in secrecy. Worse still, there's no social licence. In fact, social licence is just a buzz term tossed around by industry, the planning department, Energy Co and developers. They love it, but they can't define it, or they won't. On numerous occasions, the majority of Walcha community, 70 to 80%, has made its objection to the Winterbourne Wind project, for instance, but minus an agreed definition of social licence, that means nothing to the powers that be, which is exactly how they like it. Then there's community consultation with developers. That really is a farce. Developers don't consult with community. They actually despise consulting because they know an uninformed community is a compliant one. That's why we at Voice for Walcha make sure our community is informed, very well informed. We know that a whole raft of negatives threaten to swamp our town and area if projects of this immensity and lack of forethought are allowed to go ahead. Expect serious social, economic and environmental problems if such poorly designed industrial-scale wind projects are allowed to invade our area. But on top of all the difficulties with dodgy developers, we at Voice for Walcha also frequently are bogged down with government bodies over multiple issues. Never simple, never straightforward, often bewildering. At present, for instance, our most difficult dealings are with a government-linked body called Energy Co, who are tasked with the rollout of the New South Wales section of the transmission lines required for renewable energy transmission. The scale of that is mind-boggling, a monstrous undertaking, and part of that monster seriously threatens the Walcha district. Yet it does not need to be there. EnergyCo is part of what's making that bit of the transmission tsunami happen in our district. Acting on unqualified data, EnergyCo's rollout monster could ravage our district with transmission lines on the mere thought bubble of a would-be developer who is actually unlikely to turn its possible project into reality. This sort of illogical, unfounded behaviour allows white elephants to run free in our midst, and that's coming to us all from a government-linked body. Hopefully by now you've garnered some idea of the myriad negativities our tiny David-like town will face from these poorly designed Goliath-like wind projects. Such industrial behemoths will destroy our highly productive agricultural wonderland, our tourism and other successful local industries, plus our World Heritage wilderness. That would be a tragedy. Of course, you may well think that we're exaggerating our plight, that surely those dodgy developers out there can't be that much of a blight on regional communities. Sorry, but they most certainly can. And if it's official proof you want, go no further than the Australian Energy Infrastructure Commissioner, Andrew Dyer, whose community consultation review has been released. That review highlights the destructive and irresponsible behaviour of some developers in the renewable energy industry. And it goes further, laying down 9 crucial recommendations to improve the behaviour and the standards of those shonks. It is heartening that such a respected figure as Dyer has championed what we've been shouting about for ages. It is also heartening that this incisive 90-page review has been sent to Minister Bowen and is being considered. But we're not popping the champagne yet at Voice for Walcha. Without fully confirmed commitment from the Federal Minister and from state counterparts, little will change. All we really have at present from this report is confirmation of how destructive this process has been to regional communities and how important it is that the problem is fixed. So in conclusion, the big question is, where to for us now? Let us state unequivocally that we will continue to fight the good fight for as long as it takes. And with that in mind, we would, at the very least, like to see 3 main steps taken forward. 1, widespread developer accreditation should happen, as recommended by the Dyer Review. 2, registration of projects with the Planning Department should happen, as recommended by the Dyer Review. And 3, filtering of poor quality projects before they get to scoping or the planning portal should happen, as recommended by the Dyer Review. We're not NIMBYs. We are, in fact, strong supporters of well-designed community-based projects and developers. All we want is to protect our community, our landscape, our agricultural wonderland, our wilderness heritage fauna and flora, and our successful local industries from poor developers designing poor projects in poor locations.